Hello guys, this is Khalid Ahmed from MILLENNIUM Immigration Canada, and last time in my last video we tried to understand how Express Entry program works and what are the main documents required when we are creating online profile. And today we will try to understand the three major streams or programs, which are called number one, Federal Skilled Worker Program, second, Federal Skilled Trade Program, and the third one is Canadian Experience Class. We'll try to understand all these three streams or programs under Express Entry system and what are their minimum requirements to qualify or to become eligible for these programs, so we can apply only one program out of these three programs. We will try to understand some tricks and tips of these streams so that we can become eligible for Canadian permanent residence. So stay with me till the end of this video, and definitely it will be beneficial for you guys, and it might give you a chance to become a Canadian citizen one day. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe my channel so that you guys can get up-to-date videos on the topic of Canadian immigration and on different programs. Thanks very much for subscribing my channel. Have a nice day. Take care guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, so now I will discuss about three streams for three programs which comes under Express Entry system, so you can immigrate to Canada through these Express Entry programs. Express Entry is an online system that is used to manage applications for permanent residence for three programs. One is called Federal Skilled Worker Program, the second one is Federal Skilled Trade Program, and the third one, last one, is Canadian Experience Class. Guys, once you create your online profile, then you have 60 days to complete your profile once you have started that. Okay, before going into the depth of the program, there are some immigration terminologies which confuse lots of people. So one of them is CLB, which is called Canadian Language Benchmark. This is a Canadian standard which is used to describe and measure and recognize your English language ability. The NIVOX D Competence Linguistics Canadians is used to assess abilities in the French language. Yeah, this one is used for French language. There are 4 language ability tests. It means you will be tested in your reading, writing, listening and speaking areas. Another terminology in immigration is NOC, which is standard for National Occupation Classification. It is a list of all occupations in the Canadian labor market. It describes each job according to skill type and skill level for immigration purposes. These are the main job groups. Skill type 0, like it shows managerial jobs. Skill level A, professional jobs like doctor, engineers, accountants, etc. usually require university degree. Skill level B, this is a technical kinds of jobs or skilled trade jobs that usually require a college diploma or training as an apprentice. Skill level C, it is an intermediate jobs that usually call for high school and or job specific training. Skill level D, it is a labor job that usually give on the job training. Okay, now I will compare all these three programs, and what are their eligibility criteria, so you guys can decide easily which one is best suited for you. So the first one is Canadian Experience Class, and this is the eligibility criteria here. So the first criteria is language skills. If you are applying for 0 or for A, means for managerial jobs or for professional jobs like doctor, engineers or accountants, then you need a Canadian Language Benchmark 7. I will convert this CLB 7 into CELPIP and IELTS later on. So if you are applying for skill level B, which is technical or skilled trade job, then you are required CLB 5. So you can take either English test or French test. If you guys take English test, you will get marks. If you take the French language test too, so you will get more marks. Type, level of work and experience, you must get Canadian experience under these types and skills, which is 0, A and B. I have mentioned, what is A0, what is A, and what is B. So under this Canadian experience class, because it shows with its name like Canadian experience class, means you must have Canadian experience, not foreign experience. Amount of work, all these eligibility criteria you must meet, otherwise you are not eligible. Amount of work experience, 1 year in Canada. You must have work experience, 1 year in Canada in the last 3 years. Last 3 years means, you must have started working in 2017 if you are applying in 2020. So from 2017 to 2020 you must have a 1 year experience, either combination of full-time or part-time work. Full-time means you must have worked 30 hours per week with paid jobs, and after 12 months it will become 1560 hours. It is a full-time. And the part-time means you must have worked like 15 hours per week with paid jobs, means you must get salary. And then if you multiply by 24 months, it means 2 years, so it will become 1560 hours in 2 years. So this is a part-time. You can show your experience in this way. Luckily you guys have you don't need any job for requirement from Canadian employer. Education also not required. If you want to understand more about NOC, so you can go down here in the link and click there. I have full complete video especially about NOC, so you will full understand about what is NOC is that and how does it work. And for language, what languages are required for Canadian immigration, you can go down there and click the link, so you will understand completely about the language requirements. The second program is Federal Skilled Worker Program. For this program, you like workers inside Canada or outside of Canada, they can apply for this stream. So the eligibility criteria for this stream is your language skills. You must have got CLV7 to apply for this stream. Either English or in French, both. You have NCLC for the French, so NCLC 7 or CLB7, you must require CLB7 score. Okay, CLB7 in English and NCLC in French. Type, level of work experience, Canadian or foreign work experience will work. So either you have Canadian experience or outside of Canada, it will both acceptable under these occupations. National occupations 0, A and B, and now I think you have understood what does it mean. 0 means managerial jobs, A is professional jobs, and B is a skill job or skill trade jobs. Amount of work experience, 1 year continuous within the last 10 years. Again, the combination of part-time, full-time, or more than one job in your primary occupations. So 1 year continuous within the last 10 years means if you are applying in 2020, you're applying for this stream in 2020, then you must have started your work in 2010. So during this period from 2010 to 2020, you must have 1 year continuous experience, no gap. Combination of part-time, I already explained, 15 hours per week paid job, and full-time means 30 hours per week with pay, and more than one job in your primary occupations. Okay, it don't necessarily you have you are working on the one place. You can have more than one job, but your primary occupation remains same. And what is primary occupation? Just let's see what is that. Your primary occupation means the job you have experience in within the last 10 years and want to base your immigration application on if you are invited to apply. Job offer, you no need to prove your job offer from Canadian employer, but you can get selection. You can score more points in your express entry pool. You can increase your CRS score, comprehensive ranking system, under this stream Federal Skilled Worker Program if you have a valid job offer. Education, you need only secondary education, but if you are a graduate or you have a master degree, then you can score higher in your in your express entry pool. The third and the last program is Federal Skill Trade Program. Eligibility criteria is language skills required. If you are taking your test in English, then you need CLB 5 for speaking and listening, okay, and CLB 4 for reading and writing. Every program got different requirements for English language. Please don't get confused, because if you want, just go back on my video and then you can check them back. So under both language tests, English or French skills, you must get CLB Canadian Language Benchmark 5 for speaking and listening, and CLB 4 for reading and writing. Type, level of work experience, you may have Canadian or foreign work experience in a skilled trade under key group of NOC B, means you must have a skilled work experience or skilled trade job experience. Amount of work experience, how many years? 2 years within the last 5 years. Suppose if you are applying in 2020, you must have started your work experience in 2015, and from 2015 to 2020 you must have 2 years experience, either combination of full-time or part-time. I already explained all these things. Job offer, you must require a job offer from a Canadian employer. A valid job offer of full-time employment for a total period of at least 1 year. Okay, that job offer must be at least for 1 year, or you can present a certificate of qualification in that skill trade issued by a Canadian provincial, territorial, or federal authority. Suppose if you are applying for car mechanic jobs, and then you have to, if you pass that course in Ontario, then the province of Ontario will give you a certificate of qualification, then you can present that. Education not required. So these are the minimum requirements for Canadian experience class. Now this is the detail of the program. Minimum requirements. First is language. Under your requirements, you must score Canadian Language Benchmark 7 for NOC 0A, means for managerial jobs if you are applying, or for professional jobs like doctor, engineer, accountants. Or if you are taking if you are applying for the skilled trade job, which is NOC B, then you must score Canadian Language Benchmark 5. You can take only two approved English language tests in English. Either you can take IELTS journal test or CELPIP journal test. Take either one. Language test in French language, you can take TCF Canada or you can take TEF Canada. Take either one. If you take IELTS journal for NOC 0, means for professional jobs, then you must score CLB 7 required. If you convert in IELTS score, it will be like 6.0, 6.0, 6.0, 6.0 in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. It means that in all 4 language abilities you need 6.6.6.6. If you take CELPIP journal for for this managerial job or for professional jobs, then you need a CLB 7. CELPIP score will be 7.0, 7.0, 7.0, 7.0 in all 4 abilities, which is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. For French language, if TCF test for NOC B for the technical skill job, then you must score NCLC 5, and TCF score will be in speaking 6.0, in listening 369 to 397, and reading 375 to 405, and writing 6.0. This is the criteria. You must meet this, otherwise you will lose language criteria. If you take TEF Canada test for NOC B for the skill trade, then you need NCLC 5. TEF score will be in speaking 226 to 270, in listening 181 to 216, in reading 151 to 180, and in writing you must score 226 to 270. Second eligibility criteria or factor is experience. You must have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada, because this is Canadian experience class program. So then they are required from you a Canadian experience in the last 3 years before you apply. Okay, suppose if you are applying in 2020, then you must have started in 2017, and within this time from 2017 to 2020 you have 1 year, at least 1 year's experience, and that experience must be full-time or an equal amount in part-time. and you know that what is full-time means 30 hours per week with paid job, and part-time means 15 hours per week with paid. If you show your experience and you have more than one NOC skills and types experiences, then you can show there, no problem. Self-employment and work experience gained while you are a full-time student, even if you were on a COP work term, does not count towards the minimum requirement for this program. Minimum requirements Canadian experience class continued. The third one is your education not required, but still there are two ways to get higher rank in express entry pool. First, if you have a Canadian post-secondary certificate, diploma or degree, okay, then you will increase your marks, you increase your CRS score, comprehensive ranking system. If you have a foreign certificate, diploma or degrees, then you must go for to get them equalized according to equal to the Canadian standard through your ECA report, okay, and then you are good. You can apply for that too. So if you want to understand about ECA, please go and click the link down below. Then you will understand how to assess your foreign educational documents. You must be admissible to Canada. Just click there and let's see what is the admissibility. What it means to be inadmissible. Some people are not allowed to come to Canada. They are inadmissible under Canadian immigration law. A Canadian immigration officer will decide if you can enter Canada when you apply for a visa or an ETA or electronic travel authorization, or when you arrive at the port of entry. If you are inadmissible to Canada, normally if you are inadmissible to Canada, you won't be allowed to enter the country. If you have a valid reason to travel to Canada that is justified in the circumstances, the IRCC may issue you a temporary residence permit. If you have committed or been convicted of a crime, you have few options to overcome your criminal inadmissibility. Okay. If you have a little bit crimes you have committed past, then you can click what are the solutions for your problems IRCC has presented. You see penalties for driving while impaired. If you're driving while impaired by alcohol or drugs, including cannabis, you may be inadmissible for serious criminality. This means that you won't be able to enter or stay in Canada unless IRCC issue you a temporary residence permit. You will have to pay the Canadian $200 processing fees for a permit, and there is no guarantee you will be allowed to enter or stay in the country. Minimum requirements for Canadian experience class continued, and this is the last one hopefully. Okay, where you can live in Canada. You must plan to live outside the province of Quebec. Quebec is a province in Canada, in French language dominant province. They have their own program, and they select workers their own. When you fill out your profile, IRCC will ask you where you plan to live in Canada. You don't have to settle in that province or territory. Minimum requirements for federal skilled trade programs in express entry. So the minimum requirements, skilled work experience, you usually have to show education, language ability, proof of funds, admissibility, where you can live in Canada. Okay. So let's see what are the minimum requirements. Minimum requirements to be eligible, you must meet the required language skills for each language ability, writing, in reading, listening, and speaking. Okay, and through two tests. In English, either you can take IELTS or CELPIP journal, or in French you can take TCF Canada or TEF Canada. You must have at least 2 years of full-time experience or an equal amount of part-time work experience in a skilled trade within the 5 years before you apply. If you are applying in 2020, then you must started working in 2015. Then in these 5 years you must have 2 years full-time experience, and full-time means 30 hours per week with paid work. Meet the job requirements for that skilled trade and set out the national occupation classification, except for needing a certificate of qualification, and have a valid job offer of full-time employment for a total period of at least 1 year, or must have certificate of qualification from the provinces issued to you. Federal skilled trade programs are organized under these groups of national occupation classification. As a skilled trade person, either you have work experience in industrial, electrical, and and construction trades or in maintenance and equipment operations trades, or on supervisors on technical jobs in natural resources, in agriculture or in related productions, in processing facilities. In there is no education requirement, but if you want to rank in the express entry pool higher score, then you have two ways to do that. Either you have a Canadian secondary institution certificate or diploma or degree, or a post-secondary institution diploma, certificate or degree, then you can score higher in the express entry pool. Or if you have a foreign credential, foreign qualifications, then you must get your ECA report through all these designated organizations, and which must be equivalent to the Canadian certificate, diploma or degrees, then you are good to go. So what are the designated organizations? They can assess your foreign credential, your foreign degrees, like World Education Services, International Accreditation Assessment Service of Canada, ICAS, Comparative Education Services, SES, University of Toronto School of Continuing Studies, International Qualification Assessment Services, ICAS, International Accreditation Evaluation Service. All these services, they will provide services to evaluate your foreign degrees and certificates. For doctors, they will go for Medical Council of Canada, MCC. Okay, these 5 organizations, they cannot evaluate doctor's degrees. The doctor's degrees will be done through Medical Council of Canada. And if you are pharmacist, you have pharmacy degree, then you go to Pharmacy Examination Board of Canada. Language, you meet minimum scores like from the Canadian language benchmark 5, because you are applying for NOG B, and that is a skilled trade job, a skilled worker. So then you must score CLB 5 for speaking and listening, and Canadian language benchmark 4 for reading and writing. Take approved language test. Approved language test, you can click here, but I can tell you right away here. For English, you can take IELTS general test or CELPIP general test. For French language, if you want to take your French language test, then you can take TCF Canada or TEF Canada. Once you get the result, you can enter your test result in your express entry profile. Okay, your language tests are valid for 2 years. If that 2 years finished, then you have to retake the test. Proof of funds. Okay, let's see how much money you must have to bring to Canada. If you are coming alone, then you need $12,960. Okay, if you are coming with your wife, means you are 2 people, then you need $16,135. If you are coming like 3 people, your wife, husband, and a kid, then you need $19,836. So in this way, like how many people you are coming, you can calculate here. Simple calculation is given here. So for each additional family members, after 7, if the 8th person with you, then you have to pay $3,492 for the 8th one. Again, admissibility, you must be admissible to Canada. I have just admissibility is the same in everywhere. You just click the previous page, then you will see what I have just explained, that where you can live in Canada. I also explained that. Get assessed by province or territory, because you are a trade person, you have trade experience, so you will like to have to go to the province or territory to be assessed for your trade. You may also need an employer in Canada to give you experience and training. Okay, these are the Canadian provinces and territory. So suppose if you see your trade, where you can find your trade, just go one by one in all these provinces. You may get experience under your trade, so it will be good and beneficial for you guys. This is minimum requirement for the Federal Skilled Worker Program in Express Entry. Federal Skilled Worker Program, these people will be a Canadian workers or maybe outside of Canada. There are some selection factors. On the basis of these selection factors, you will be judged. If you meet all the minimum requirements, then IRCC then assess your application based on your age, education, work experience, whether you have valid job offer, English or French language abilities, and your adaptability factors. Okay, these factors are part of a 100 points grid used to assess eligibility for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You earn points for how well you do in each of these 6 factors. The current passing marks is 67 points out of 100. So the minimum requirement, your work experience must be either in 0 means like a managerial jobs, or in the A for the professional jobs, doctor, engineers, accountants, or in the skill level B, technical jobs. You must show that while working your primary occupations, you perform the duties set out in your lead statements of the occupational descriptions in the No. You must have at least 1 year of continuous work, or 1560 hours total, means 30 hours per week paid job. You can meet this in a few different ways. Your language abilities, I already explained in the back of the page. Either you take a approved language test. Either you take CELP general test or IELTS general test for English, or for French you can take TCF Canada or TEF Canada, and they will check your abilities in writing, reading, listening, and speaking. You must get CLV 7 in all 4 abilities. If you are applying for for this federal skilled worker express entry program, so you must score, because you are applying for the managerial job, or like for the or professional jobs or technical jobs, then you must score CLV 7 in all 4 abilities. Enter the test result in your express entry profile. Your language test results will be valid for 2 years after the date of the test result. Education: if you went to a school in Canada, you must have a certificate, diploma, or degree from a Canadian secondary institutions, high schools, or post-secondary institutions, colleges. If you have foreign degrees, you must have completed your credential assessment, which is called ECA report, for immigration purpose from a designated organizations. I just showed you, what are the designated organizations. Proof of funds, I just explained there, but we will see what are the minimum money requirements for this federal skilled worker programs. If you are coming alone, then you need $12,960. If you are coming with your wife, means you and your wife, 2 people, then you have to show like over $16,000. And if you are coming with your wife, husband, and child, then you have to show over $19,000. If you are more than 7 people, then additional person has to show $3,492. You must be admissible to Canada. I have clicked there and explained you. So where you can live in Canada, I have also mentioned these things also, except Quebec, because Quebec has their own immigration programs and their own streams. So they call people, they get applications from people, and IRCC, they have different programs. So when you are creating your online profile, IRCC will ask you where you settle in the province, then you have to mention your province. That must not be a Quebec. So guys, these are the end of the stream 3 programs in details. I tried my best to explain each and everything, but a little bit quicker. So hopefully you like the video. So please subscribe my channel, which is Millennium Immigration Canada, so that you can get up-to-date videos on immigration topics and on different programs. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.